welcome to episode 15 of the Just One End podcast. My name is Elizabeth Zimmerman, but you can call me Liz. I am coming to you from Cochranville, Pennsylvania, where I live with my husband Greg, our two children Eric and Tilda, and our dog Millie. Today is Sunday, January 7th, I believe, 2018. So this is the first episode of 2018. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Algebrina, and there is a podcast group for the podcast on Ravelry, though it's not hugely active, but, you know, if you jump in, maybe it will be, called the Just One End podcast group. So obviously it has been quite a while since I have put up a podcast. I have not been dormant on the channel though. If you noticed, there's 25 videos that were posted in the past month as part of Vlogmas. So I said I was going to do it, and I did it. I stuck with it. I did all 25 days. I considered adding on another video for the week in between Christmas and New Year's, but it didn't end up being that exciting, so I didn't put anything together. But yeah, I was super excited to do Vlogmas. It was the first time I'd ever done something like that. I'd never captured video and tried to put it together into a vlog, let alone every day. I've only really done one before, which was a yarn crawl that I did last summer. But doing something every day for the month of December was a challenge, to say the least. But it was also a lot of fun, a good learning experience. I am glad it's over. It was a lot of work. It not only just capturing everything and figuring out, you know, what to capture and figuring out, you know, what I would need in order to put together something for the day, but then also doing the editing and getting it uploaded and all of that. So I am happy to say I pretty much stayed on top of it. I think the latest I ever posted was about 2 days later. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I am looking forward to doing it next year. I don't think I'll do it in between. I don't think that daily vlogging is going to be a regular occurrence. Possibly Vlogtober, but really there's not enough that goes on in my life, I don't think, during the month of October to really justify it. But I think that leading up to the Christmas season is a great time to do it. Now, I've really enjoyed checking out other people's Vlogmas. I didn't discover podcasts until February of this year. I think it was February, or of last year. Sorry, it's 2018 now. So since I didn't know Vlogmas was a thing before, I had never been able to follow it. So it was a lot of fun to find some of my favorite podcasters doing Vlogmas and be able to follow along with theirs, in addition to doing my own. So that was, I don't know, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed watching it and participating in it, and it's definitely something I'm looking forward to for next year. That being said, there's a lot that I covered in Vlogmas, but I'm not going to assume that you've watched it. It's a big commitment to actually watch all of those. So I'm going to try and not refer to it all that often. If there's a couple things that I think you might like to check out, then I'll tell you where you can find them. But otherwise, I'll just assume you haven't watched it, and I'll try and recap how my month went, and all of that. I will say I've actually already rewatched my episodes once. I don't know if that's a vain thing to do, but I'm one that's always really enjoyed watching home videos. I love reliving memories through, watching videos of when I was a kid, or just things that we've done. So I've already enjoyed going back and looking at what we were doing in the month of December. I did capture quite a bit of my family in the vlogs too, which is not something that you see very often in the podcast. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think if my husband's made an appearance at all in the podcast. I don't think he has. I know Tilda has, because she's woken up from a nap before. But I don't think Eric has either. But so it was kind of fun to be able to involve my family in doing some things on the channel as well. So anyway, I think I've gone on long enough about Vlogmas for now. So the month of December, though, was really busy. I did get a lot of crafting done, some of which I guess is I don't feel like I got that much crafting done because I really only have one finished object, which I don't even have with me because it was given away. But we'll get to that eventually. But there was a lot that went on in December. Celebration-wise, holiday-wise, we celebrate with both mine and Greg's families. So there were like 6 or 7 Christmas events that we went to. We celebrate with our little family, which is just my husband and my kids. We celebrate with my immediate family, all of my siblings and parents. We celebrate with Greg's immediate family, his siblings and parents. We celebrate with my extended family on my mom's side. We celebrate with Greg's extended family on both his mom and his dad's side. With New Year's, we have everybody up to our house and we play games and we eat food and we go out to a buffet the next morning for breakfast. And it was all just a lot of fun. It was all very busy. There's a lot of people at each of those events. And I mean a lot. I mean, most of them, once you get beyond my immediate family, like, no, not even my immediate family. Once you get past our household, and then Greg's immediate family is pretty small. My immediate family has over 20 people in it. My extended family has those 20 plus some others. My husband's extended family, his dad is one of 14 kids. So he's got tons of aunts and uncles on that side. And then his mom's family too. It's mostly his cousins and they've all got kids and it's just a lot of people. So there was a lot going on at every celebration, and it was just, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy being around so much family. I know I'm incredibly lucky to be around so much family, and so I do appreciate it. It's just very, very busy. So the reason there really was nothing to record between Christmas and New Year's is because I was recovering from the whole holiday season. It was just crazy and busy. Also, bonus track, we had a concert on the 16th. If you want to check out any of that footage, the Vlogmas Day 16 is going to have some of those videos. We had another concert in there too that was for a assisted living retirement community in Oxford. I can't remember what day it is, so I'll pop that down in either the down bar or in the notes. But that was another little concert that we did. So I had a ton of fun doing that. Our concert went really well. This was the first time we had like a paying audience to come and see us specifically. We did it along with the Chromatics from Greenbelt, Maryland. I'll link their website down below also. And it was just a lot of fun to put on. It was very stressful leading up to it, but so much fun to actually perform and to be done. There is a certain relief in something big like that being in the past. So lots and lots of fun with bonus track. I love the holiday season too, performing that kind of music. It's always fun when we switch our rehearsals to going to Christmas music, which really happens in like September. So I've had Christmas music playing in my mind for a long time now. I went to a cookie exchange earlier in the month, actually the same day as the bonus track concert. And so I got to try my hand at making some sugar cookies, some fancy ones. They're called piñata cookies because what you do is you make like a box out of sugar cookie and you leave a space in the middle and then you fill that with something. So I filled it with little candies. So it was like a present with a surprise inside, which was a lot of fun to put together. I got my sister Mindy to help me out with it. She did a year of sugar cookie 2 years ago, I think, where she would make a sugar cookie. I think it was every month she would make a special cookie decorating technique kind of thing. So we got to work together to make those for the cookie exchange I went to, which was a ton of fun. Let's see what else. Oh, we started an annual tradition with my little family of picking out Christmas ornaments. So we got to go check out a Christmas tree farm and shop, I think they called it, which had some beautiful, fresh garland and wreaths, and as well as Christmas trees. We do have an artificial tree, which I prefer just because it's easy. But I do love the real wreaths that they had, and I think probably starting next year we're gonna use, put a real wreath on our door instead of the fake one that I have right now. So maybe that'll be a new tradition that we get to start. But it was a lot of fun to pick out ornaments, and Santa happened to be there, which was nice. And I think that's really the first time my kids have seen Santa. I'm a terrible like photo op, traditional whatever mom. Yeah, I don't think they've seen the Easter Bunny or any of those, like, go sit on their lap and take pictures. So anyway, so they got to see Santa, which they thought was a lot of fun. And we got to start that tradition of picking out Christmas ornaments. So I got a sheepy one. So it was fun. But anyway, let me get into some yarny stuff. Like I said, I have made a lot of progress crafty-wise in the past month. The first thing, so in finished objects, like I said, I really only have one, although really it's three. The only finished object I have is some Christmas stockings. I've mentioned before that I make the family Christmas stockings. I had 3 to make this year. 2 cousins of mine. One had a daughter who I had not made a stocking for yet, and my other cousin had a son and a husband. So I made stockings for them. I will put in a picture so that you can see them. They're fairly simple. The name is knit into the cuff. I do use sort of intarsia. I'm not real sure what I'm doing there. I'm kind of just making it up as I go. But I put the name in the cuff, and then the cuff is white, and then the rest of the stocking is red. You'll have seen it, but it's got pom-poms and a little tie and sequin Christmas trees on it and things like that. So they're not my favorite project to work on, but they're not terrible. They're using a Red Heart Super Saver acrylic, which is not my favorite yarn to work with because it's not very soft, but it really only takes me like 10 to 12 hours, I think, to do a stocking. But since I had 3 of them, that meant I had a lot of knitting time dedicated to those stockings this Christmas. So I finished them pretty much right before Christmas. I think I was putting finishing touches on them on the Friday night before Christmas when we celebrated with my extended family. So I finished them at that point, and then they got delivered to my cousins. And at that point, I was done with obligatory knitting for the month, so I got to focus on things that I wanted to work on. But yeah, most of the month was spent on those stockings. So those are my finished object. I don't have them anymore, but you'll have seen a picture. But I made a ton of progress on some of my works in progress. My sock is living in a new project bag. This is one that I picked up from Steel City Stitcher over the holiday season. This is a drawstring bag, as you may be able to tell. It's elf themed, so it's got the quote, "I passed through the 7 levels of the candy cane forest and through the sea of swirly twirly gumdrops." So he's on there. This is a great bag. As always with Roberta, she makes wonderful bags. It's got a great lining. It's got pockets in it. It's just a really nice bag. So living in this bag is my Christmas sock. This is what it was last time. I had 1 sock done to the point where it just needs a heel. So the other sock was my Christmas Eve cast on. I cast on, oops, it's in the wrong bag. I cast on Christmas Eve, actually on the drive down to Christmas Eve at my grandma's house. I cast on the second stock. So I am using 9-inch circulars. These are Chaigu size 2. Size 2 is my go-to sock. I think I do 64 stitches. So there's a 2x2 rib at the top, just about 10 rows, I think. And then I am working on the body of the sock. I have maybe a couple more inches before I do the toe. And then I'll cut in the heels. So yeah, the yarn is Stole Christmas. I believe it's Stoll, Stoll, by Dragonfly Fibers. I picked this yarn up at the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival earlier in the year. So I was looking back at a couple of old episodes. This is a total tangent, but I was looking back because I wanted to make sure I knew what I had covered previously, especially since it's been so long since I podcasted. So I mentioned before that one episode I was recapping, talking about having gone to the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival, and I kept calling it the Susquehanna Valley Fiber Festival. Turns out it did not start with that episode. Before the festival, I also called it the Susquehanna Valley Fiber Festival and even linked it that way. It's in my notes as Susquehanna Valley Fiber Festival. Someday I will learn and hopefully remember to say it the correct way, which is Shenandoah, not Susquehanna. Anyway, so this is my sock. I'm almost done with it. There's really just a couple more inches. So if I end up doing going to the theater anytime soon, I think this would be my dark knitting. Although I can't actually knit on it without looking at it, so it's for like when I have that that movie theater that I've gone to where they have a little bit of light, I can at least mostly see. I'm trying right now if I can knit without looking. The tiny needles and the tiny yarn, I do not feel very comfortable knitting without looking at it. So anyway, so this is my sock. I also am using my Doctor Who warp, I think. TARDIS ball sack from Steel City Stitcher also. So it's holding my yarn nice and neat inside my project bag. So that is work in progress number 1. Okay, the second thing that I've been working on, spending a lot of my time working on, is my stitching. So I actually did not pick up stitching at all through the month of December because I was spending so much time knitting on my Christmas stockings. The other thing that I knit on was my Cozy Memories blanket. Those were really the only 2 things that I worked on through the month of December. Everything else is since Christmas. Like I said, that second sock was my Christmas Eve cast on, and then I didn't pick up my stitching until I think after New Year. So a lot of this is recent progress. So the stitching though that I've been working on is my Fabulous Women in History stitch along from Cloud's Factory. She does have a 2018, I don't know why I say she, I don't know if it's one individual, but Cloud's Factory also has a 2018 stitch along, which is Mythical Creatures Alphabet, which I did sign up for. So that is on its way to me now. I did order the kit, so I'll get the DMC floss and the special, I can't remember what they're called, but the hand-dyed floss and then hand-dyed background fabric, the linen. So that should be arriving any day now, and then the first pattern section is released on the 10th. So I think that's Wednesday. So hopefully it gets here before Wednesday. But honestly, I'm not done with last year's yet, so I shouldn't start until I finish this year. Or I shouldn't start this year's until I finish last year. But I am using my needle minder. It's the TARDIS from A Needle Runs Through It. I am also using my Q-Snap. And then I'm storing all of my thread in a project bag that I picked up from A Beautiful Mess Yarnworks. She doesn't actually make project bags anymore, but I picked one up in a D-stash. So that is the materials I'm using. This is what it looks like now. It is very, very wrinkly because I have been rolling things to avoid putting the Q-Snap directly on finished stitches. They say you can, but it makes me nervous. So I try not to. But it definitely needs a bit of an iron. I think that I'll do a light wash. I think you can do that. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so what I've done since the last time, I believe I had been working on this square here, and I had pretty much just the black dress done. But now I've finished both figures. I can't remember this one's name. Levi Montalcini, I think. And then Rosa Parks. So that was August. And then just last night I finished September. which is here, which is Ava Perón and Marilyn Monroe. So that's that one. And then I just started the purple wavies across the top of the October one. I don't remember who the people are, but you'll see it next time. So this, I think I can probably finish it in the next few weeks. I would be surprised if it took me beyond January to finish, because I am spending a lot of my time on it. And it's a lot of fun to do. So I am really enjoying working on it. I'm looking forward to the finished project. I will probably get it framed. I'm going to talk to my friend Paige when I see her at Vogue Knitting Live to figure out what kind of budget I need to save up for getting that done. But I am definitely looking forward to the finished product. And it is going to be hung up in my craft room, which is still not actually organized, but it exists. So, so it will end up on the wall here. And then my last work in progress is the one that I'm most excited about, that I've made a lot of progress on. As you may remember from last episode, if you are a returning viewer and you watched last episode, I got an advent calendar from an indie dyer, Shauna from Adelaide Cottage. I ordered it, oh goodness, back in August? I don't remember, a long time ago. I ordered it a long time ago. And then it was sent in time for December, and I got to open a mini skein of yarn every day through the month of December, which was so much fun to do. I am definitely going to get another one next month, or not next month, next year. And I put each of the squares into my Cozy Memories blanket. I think I still have three squares left to add, but it has meant that my Cozy Memories blanket has grown quite a bit. I think it's doubled probably. So everything on the side that is closest to me is what was already in there. I added a couple of squares down at the bottom. But everything from about here over is new. That's all advent calendar squares. So you can see those. Like I said, I think I have 3 more to put in. And there were 25 mini skeins. So I've got 22 in here then. And I won't go over each of them. If you would like to see what they are, then check out my Instagram page. I did post each mini every day. I posted them with their names as well. I know that Sean is planning to do some full skeins. So you should check that out to see if you might like some of the yarns that she has. And I think I will definitely be purchasing some full skeins coming up in the next year. That was my Cozy Memories blanket. It is living in my Exploding TARDIS project bag. I also decided to pick up some straight needles for this one. I got kind of sick of dealing with the cord, so I went to Webs. I went to Webs, yarn.com, and I ordered some, I think these are Zing needles. So they are Knit Picks needles. I just picked them up from, Knitter's Pride. I don't remember. Anyway, I'll put it down below. But I picked up some straight needles. I got some 10-inch needles. I think that I probably should have gotten 7-inch needles, and maybe I'll pick up another pair. I do like not having to deal with the cord. I'm not sure that they really make a huge difference using straight needles versus circular. But I don't know. If I find the desire to pick up some shorter needles, I might give those a try. But that's what I'm using to work on these. These are the 3 that I have left from my advent calendar. Those are the last ones to finish. Those are what are in here. And then next up, going into the blanket, is going to be the row 1 yarns that I picked up a while ago. I think I picked them up in like October. So those are going to go in next, though. I'm hoping to continue my motivation for working on this. I did tell myself that I want to finish at least 2 squares a month through the year of 2018.
Obviously, I'm doing way more than that currently because I just put in 25. Actually, I ended up putting in at least two more, 2 or 3. 1, 2, I think like four more that were not advent calendar squares also. So I have been putting in almost 30 squares in the past month and a bit. So I do not plan to keep up that pace. It was a lot of squares to put in, although I am getting faster. I originally timed myself putting one in during Vlogmas, and it took me 1 hour and 20 minutes, and now I can get it down in just about an hour, a little bit under. So I am getting faster, but I certainly think that I can commit 2 hours of knitting to this blanket every month, and that will at least be 24 squares to get added in throughout the year at the minimum. I'd really like to add more. I would love to finish this blanket within the year, but realistically, we know that the motivation that you get on one project does not necessarily be sustained long enough to finish it when it's a large long-term project like this one. But I am going to post a picture here. This is what I have finished on my blanket so far, compared to a fleece blanket that I'm currently using just as my couch blanket, hang out on the couch and snuggle kind of thing. So that gives you an idea of where it stands as far as progress goes and the size that I would like it to be when I'm done with it. So that should hopefully, not take me 10 years. I'm hoping it'll take me maybe a year or a couple years, but we'll see. So that's it for the projects that I've been working on. I am going to Vogue Knitting Live. It is next weekend. It is the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think 12th, 13th, 14th. I'm only going to be there for the 13th and 14th. I'm going to grab the train Saturday morning from where I live and take it up to New York. I should get there a little bit after noon on Saturday. So Saturday will be when I'll, wander around, check out the market, hopefully run into people that I'll be meeting for the first time, since this is my first big yarny event since starting podcasting. And then on Sunday, I have signed up for 2 lectures, one from Stephen West and one from Jerry Lawrence, who I totally called Lawson on my last podcast for some reason. I'm good friends with Jerry. I love Jerry. She's the owner of the co-owner of the Flying Fibers store that I talk about all the time. For some reason, I don't know, I blanked on her name. Anyway, so she's doing a lecture on sheep, and Stephen West is doing a lecture on something that I honestly don't remember what, but so I'm signed up for their lectures on Sunday. So I'm hoping to just, sit and knit and listen and enjoy that day. So since I'm going to Vogue Knitting Live though, and I am terrible about promoting my podcast. I don't even know how to promote it better. I don't know what I should be doing to try and gain a bigger following. I have no idea, obviously, because if I did, I would probably do it. But so what I've done, I'm going to add a little bit of branding to my podcast. You may have noticed that there is a new opening. My sister designed that for me. It was her idea. She did a great job of coming up with a great idea and then executing it. I am super stoked with how it came out. I love it. And then I also asked her to design a button. Now this one was my idea. I told her what I wanted it to look like, and she did it. So it just says, "Hello, my name is Elizabeth Zimmerman," and it's got the second N crossed out. It's, the just one N is I only have one N in my spelling of Zimmerman. So she made this, she designed this image for me. I got it on a Pure Buttons, I think, purebuttons.com. They do custom buttons. This is a 4-inch button. Yes, it's gigantic, but I thought that would be appropriate for the style of button that it is. So I'm going to be wearing this at Vogue Knitting Live and any other yarny event that may come up. And then utilizing both that name tag style and then the logo that she designed with my opening, I made some business cards. And I say business cards because
I'm not really a business. I'm not selling anything, but they're promotional material. So I got some square business cards that say the "Hello, my name is Elizabeth Zimmerman" on the front. And then on the back, it's got that logo that she designed for me, as well as all of the information about the podcast. My name, what it's called, my Ravelry and Instagram name, and the links for the Ravelry group and the YouTube channel. So I got a bunch of these to hand out. I think I only got like 50 of them, which in hindsight may not have been enough if I want to just like randomly hand them out to people. But I also know that I probably will not be confident enough to just be like, oh, here, have a card. So 50 may be plenty. So we'll see after next weekend how it ends up working out. But I'm really excited about those. I think they're just kind of fun. And hopefully will, help me figure out how to promote this podcast that I'm doing. So beyond that, though, all I have now are Christmas acquisitions. So if you would like to, you are welcome to turn it off. At this point, the knitting content is done. Santa this year was very knitting focused for me. So I do have a lot that I got in my Christmas stocking that I opened up on Christmas Day. That's pretty much all I have acquisition-wise. Oh, I also had a Secret Santa in one of my mommy Facebook groups that ended up being a Yarny acquisition. So that's what most of this is. Let's see. Okay, so let me start with this. I was gifting a hat to my brother. You may remember from last episode. I don't remember what it was called. I'll put a picture up. This is terrible. I'm not going to remember anything about what I'm about to tell you. But I found an Etsy shop. I don't remember the name, but I wanted to get some tags that said how to wash a hand knit item that is 100% wool. Because I was giving my brother a hand knit hat out of Quince & Co. Lark, which is a wool yarn. And so I got these little tags that hopefully you can see. I really don't know if this is focusing because I didn't even put a mirror up behind me this time. Usually I do, but it's just a tag that says how to take care of it, to hand wash cold and dry flat. So I sewed that into the hat that I made for him, and I'm planning to use it in any other gifts that I may knit in future. So that was really handy to have. As I mentioned in my mommy Facebook group, I was paired up with somebody who apparently has a sister who does hand-dyed yarn and stitch markers and all of that. So it is Strung Spectra. Her name is Leah Willis. There's all the information. If it doesn't focus, then I'll just put it down below. But she sent me a skein of yarn. It is called Emerald Isle, and it's this gorgeous green with oranges in it and like a rust orange, which I love. That's one of my favorite pops of color is rust orange. So it's called Emerald Isle. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon and fingering weight. It's super, super squishy. And she also sent me a bunch of stitch markers. So I got the yarn, which I was expecting because she, when we were paired up together, it wasn't actually a Secret Santa, it was a gift exchange. But when we were paired up together, you put on things that you would like using the app. I think we used Elfster. And so I had put up some stitch markers thinking, that's the easiest thing to give a muggle as a gift idea. Because if you say yarn, they might not necessarily know what you like, or you might end up with some yarn that you wouldn't use. So that's what I put up there. And then she messaged me and said, hey, those stitch markers that you put up, is that what you have your heart set on, or are those just suggestions? I said, oh yeah, they're just suggestions. That's not what I'm definitely expecting. I mean, you can do whatever you would like, obviously. And then she said, okay, good, because I have a friend who does yarny things. So by yarny things, turns out she hand dyes yarn and she makes stitch markers.
So I was expecting the yarn. I figured that was probably what it would be, but she also sent a ton of stitch markers. So first there's the stitch marker holder, which is this gorgeous brown and orange bead. And again, I don't know if it's focusing, but I hope it is. There. And then she also sent 2 sets of removable stitch markers. They have like the earring clasp, which I love. I love that style. And it's this like vintage looking one. There's a suitcase. There's a little high heel, a scooter, some palm trees, and a penny farthing bike. And then also a silvery set, which has a little champagne glass, a sailboat, a camera, a hot air balloon, and a bottle cap. So those are really cute. And if you want to see a closer shot of each of those, I did record it during Vlogmas when I received it. I'll put the day down below here so you can see which day it is to check out. But that was really exciting. I was not expecting the stitch markers on top of the yarn, and it was just such a great gift. I was really excited to reach out to both my gifter to, obviously send her a huge thank you, but also I reached out to her sister directly and let her know that I was so excited to be paired with somebody who has an Etsy shop to sell yarny things. So that was just really cool to get that. The rest is what Santa gave me. So this is a weaving kit for my Cricut loom, a rigid heddle loom. So it's a scarf that's called Ladies Who Lunch. So it's a nice light scarf. It's got some mohair and some kind of like novelty yarn looking stuff. I guess I could pull it out and show you. So there's this mohair here, Capra 2 Mango Moon, 75% kid mohair, 25% silk. It's called Midnight Blue. And Mango Moon Parade, this is rayon. So it's called Neptune. So those are the components, and it's a very light scarf. It's very airy. There's the picture. Sorry, it's all crinkled. But I have it on good authority that you could get this on yarn.com from Webs. So Santa did some good shopping. He also included my 25th day from the Yarn Advent Calendar. I did order the full skein, and Santa picked that up and put it in my stocking. So that was Little Mischievous Elf, which is the sparkle. It's like a gray base with some green and purple and blue and maroon, or magenta. No, not magenta. Maroon. That's the word I meant to say. So that was included in my stocking. He also managed to go over to the Legacy Fiber Arts Etsy shop and find some yarn there. This is Oogie Boogie, I think it's called. Oogie Boogie Man, in the Glitzy Toes base, so it's also sparkly. This was one of their Halloween colorways this year. And then I also received a couple of progress keepers from the Gnome Knitter. So there's a little lollipop and a sugar cookie. And I'll put that information right there. Hopefully that's focusing. Again, if not, I'll put it up there. I got a ton of enamel pins and stitch markers. This one is a keychain, which had a matching enamel pin. I believe Santa got that from Knit Picks. There's a sheep who is knitting, and a little sweater. And then he also went to the Sexy Knitter and picked up some things. There's a little popcorn sheep enamel pin and a Notions tin. So this one says, yes, it takes a long time. And inside it's got a bunch of stuff. It's got a needle gauge. It's got a tape measure, some stitch markers, some tiny little snips, a row counter, a stitch holder,
It's just got a ton in here. And it's got a little magnetic top so it can hold like needles and things. So pick that up. And then lastly from the Sexy Knitter also a stitch marker bracelet. So this is Doctor Who themed. I'm not going to go over each one individually. But obviously there's a TARDIS on there. A bunch of other stuff, angel wings. So this is a bracelet as well as stitch marker holder. So that means you can wear it, you know, as like a charm bracelet, which I am really excited to do because it is, come on. Because it's really pretty. It's just really cool. I remember growing up that my mom had a charm bracelet and I was always fascinated by it. So this is a very similar feel to it. So that's what Santa brought me. I have mentioned before, I think Santa would have brought it to me if I hadn't been so impatient. But I have the the purple wrist ruler, leather ruler bracelet thing that I picked up from Flying Fibers. And then I also have in here, my sister, my older sister Mindy had me in the family gift exchange. And one of the things that she included in her gift to me was some stitch markers as well. So I am flush with stitch markers this year. I am so excited. So this one's got scissors and a skein of yarn and a tiny little clothespin and a little sweater and a ball of yarn and knitting needles. And then there's also a button one, which is on my socks right now. So I am blessed with a Christmas full of yarny goodness. So I believe that is everything this week. I guess I should have addressed this at the top. So my theme this week is cozy, because I am wearing my pajamas. I did not want to get changed. I did put on a bra, but yeah, I'm just wearing my pajamas. And then the chair that I'm sitting in is it's actually my parents'. I steal it from them whenever I can. It's a folding chair that is just this giant circle, and it's super cozy and comfortable. I have been looking for one that is exactly the same for years. I cannot find them. But they fold up into like a taco shape. If you know where to get one of these chairs, tell me, because I want one so bad. Because I steal theirs all the time. But I figured when bringing a chair into this room, because there's not one that normally lives in here. Usually I just pull in a dining room chair. I thought I'd use this one today. So cozy is the theme for the day. Anyway, so I think that'll be it. I do want to put in to the end here, a bit of a montage, and hopefully I managed to put it together. Otherwise this will get cut. But last year I said that I wanted to do a goal, of one finished object per month throughout the year. I've always done a yearly cooking goal, to varying degrees of success, doing like cooking pies or souffles or soup or cocktails. And I decided this year to make it a knitting goal. So I did finish more than 12 projects, so more than one a month. I think that when I counted it was something like 23 that I actually finished, which is very exciting for me since the previous year I finished one. I think I finished a dress for my daughter while I was on vacation. And that was pretty much it. So I am really excited that I did manage to focus so much of my time on the crafts that I love and had kind of forgotten that I love so much. So here's a little snip then of the projects that I'm going to claim for each month. I'm not going to put them all in, but I'll put in at least one per month throughout the year 2017. It has been a great year, especially knitting wise. Doing the podcast has been so much fun. I think I started it in May, so I'll come up on my podiversary this upcoming spring. So just a big thank you to everyone who has been watching, everyone who has commented and reached out and interacted with me. If you are going to Vogue Knitting Live, I would love to meet you. If you're not, if there's other things that you're going to, I'd love to meet you at those. I'm planning to go to Maryland Sheep and Wool. I would love to go to Rhinebeck this year. I think that will probably happen. So anytime you see me, please come up and say hello. I would love to meet you. So thank you for watching today and every day. And I hope that you have a great, hopefully 2 weeks before I see you next time. And enjoy your crafting and your family and whatever else you love. So thank you again for joining me. Bye. That's what I love about drawstring bags. I love doing this. I love doing the whoop. I'm a dork.